Hi everyone. We're having technical difficulties, but welcome to Ladies Takeover Part 2 on Chicago, Lord Jesus, Chicago Clubhouse podcast. You know, where we talk about everything and don't really know much. Today we have some wonderful ladies joining us. First up is Erica, our shy connoisseur person. She's going to be on all broadcasts. So join us, Erica. Hey!
Hey. How's it going?
Girl, it's going good. It's going good. I'm excited that we're getting to talk to these two ladies. The next lady, I'm not going to tell you her last name, but her name is Allison. And she is like the person to know, especially in Chicago, if you are trying to act. She has coached some greats. She has done just a lot of work in the arts community here in Chicago. Allison, are you with us?
I am here.
Hey, Allison.
Hi. I'm having like crazy technical stuff.
Oh, it's me too. So I have this, I'm going to do this when I think I'm out and Erica's going to take over. Okay. And last but surely not least, we have Chicago's very own Lena Horn. We have the Miss Jeanne Sparrow.
Lena Horn.
That's
crazy. Hey, everybody. What's
Chicago legend.
How you doing?
Hi.
Great.
This is crazy.
What's up, friend?
Mercury in retrograde is happening. I do not see you, Jeanne.
But you, as long as you hear me, that's all.
I hear you, baby.
Like.
I know you fine. Hi.
Y'all both good. I'm just saying. Oh my goodness, you guys have so much history here in Chicago, have done some amazing things, and we want the world to know. Some people, for me, in my 40s, I grew up listening to your voice. I grew up seeing your smile, when you would do small things on TV. But this generation now, especially since you're gone from you and me, we want them to know you, know, hey, she's Chicago, but she grew up in Louisiana.
Yes, I did.
Can you, she went to Northwestern and we just decided to keep her. We wouldn't let her go when she came up to the North. So
that's right.
I know you don't like to talk about yourself, but just a little tidbit would be wonderful.
About what would you like to know? Because it sounds like you know a lot already.
We're going to need to see where you keep them Emmys. That's where I need to know.
There's one in the corner. Is it over there? Oh, wait, my mic is hiding it. My mic stand is hiding it. There's one in the corner over there. I don't know if you can see it. Over there. Right there. Oh, you know what? One moment, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, show us.
Oh, Miss Allison, I know you think we are not going to get in yours, but we get in yours too. You better tell it, Miss Acting Coach to the Extraordinaire. Cat, you did it. If I'm not mistaken, aren't you an award winner too?
I have a few awards. I don't got no Emmy though. I ain't got no Emmy like Miss Jane, but I am in my studio right now. I'm
That
at
and
Epic.
that's beautiful.
I'm at Epic Arts. There's my little boxing area. We do boxing. We do dance, acting. I actually taught tonight. And so, yeah. So we've been here 3 years. We're located inside of the River Oaks Mall, Epic Arts and Entertainment.
I love it.
I am so mad at myself for being right in the street.
Come on. Come on through.
Don't say you don't have an Emmy, though. Say you don't have an Emmy yet.
Yet.
And
two of my Emmys are sitting in Jeanne Sparrow's living room. Okay. Okay. We got that Emmy. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, anytime one of us wins, all of us
That's
win.
right. We all win. Brown girls rule, honey.
Facts, y'all. Every single time.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say something because Jeanne, you and I go way back. Like
very far back.
I think my first husband back. Yeah. Like you was the third wheel, the intermediary. You was coming to lunch and dinners. Like, Jeanne, can you meet us? I'm going out to dinner with my husband. As you guys know, I was married to the NBA player Craig Hodges, and Jeanne was the third wheel on a few dates. But I do want to just when I was running the women's team and all of that, but I really especially want to thank you and acknowledge you. One thing I can say about you for sure, without a doubt, not, we're Capricorns, but you have such integrity. You say what you're going to do, you do what you're going to say, you follow through, and you looked out for me so many times when you were hosting Windy City. Not Windy City, Girl Stop. And me. Yes, you and me in the morning. And I just want to say thank you. My sister, actress Drew Sidora, who you probably guys have seen a few times.
Well, she's like my little sister too. Why wouldn't I?
Exactly. But even like with Real Men Cook or, anything, and not just relationship wise, you get it. You know what I'm saying? You are bringing voices to the city. You're bringing stories to the city that needed to be told, the undervalued, the unthought of, and you're bringing highlight to those very important conversations. And, and I'm glad you're back on the radio. I'm glad you're back in that seat with that mic, because you have this incredible way of allowing listeners and viewers in on things that mean so much to our community, to our families, and to the world at large. So I just wanted to say thank you, sister girl.
No, thank you, girl.
You're the bomb.
I appreciate those kind words. And we go so far back. Let me see if I can find a picture from my 30th birthday.
Ooh, yeah, you were 30. I was 10. I don't know why I was at a 30-year-old birthday party, honey. I just don't know why my mama dropped me off to that party.
And then she fucked at me when I dropped you back off because it was past your curfew.
Exactly.
But and you've always been there bringing people through, like, and affording opportunities. The thing that I appreciate, and I have found this, and Kay and Erica, I don't know, what your experience has been, but a lot of times I find that we as women are often not given credit for supporting each other. In fact, a lot of people say the exact opposite is true. And while I think in any situation, you can find people who will work against you and people who work with you. But I can truly say that in my time in Chicago, the people I know, the people I have worked with, or just the people who are, my colleagues, from other places have done nothing but show love, support in very real ways, even, and it's so funny because people will be like, well, so-and-so. And it's like, even if you don't know them, you're like, yeah, And
Right.
you support them and that whole thing, because the reality is that you will know them at some point in time, because all of sisters that are in media in Chicago eventually run into each other some way, somehow. And we don't go anywhere without each other. We don't, and when I mean by go anywhere, you don't get none of these without somebody. You don't get none of nothing without people behind you. So never let somebody say that we as Black women don't that we're out to get each other, or that I hate hearing that narrative. The narrative I like hearing is the one that's the truth, and that is that we support each other and that we hold each other up.
Yeah.
So now back to your original question, Miss Kay. So what is it that you would like to know about the Jeanne Sparrow journey? Don't say all of it.
Well, see, before I even go back to that, the sisterhood, the sister support is so important for people to know and to see, especially from Black women, especially in this day and time that we are in, because it's so much trauma. And you see, you hear the false narrative all the time, like, oh, I may only have one friend and that sister is not always for me. But it's good to hear that the higher you go up, you still have those bonds and connections, and people are still rooting for you. And that's good for people to know. That's good for you to feel that kind of support.
And we root for each other. Like it does not happen in a vacuum, Kate. Like none of this happens. Like nobody, I know Allison will agree with me on this. It takes a team to make everything happen. Everything. Like nobody stands in front of a camera without, probably at least 20 people making that shit happen. Like literally.
Girl.
Like,
that
you
part.
and you don't get and sometimes some talent forgets this, but you don't get to be talent without a team that helps you get to where you are and helps you stay there. That's the other thing. Like a lot of times people forget that it may be a struggle to get where you want to go, but it's a whole different thing to stay there. And not only for other people, for your audience, but for yourself. And I think that's true of any industry. And so I think that's where that kind of reciprocity of supporting each other, rooting for each other, because, again, one of us wins, all of us do, because especially when it's one of those situations where you're the first one to do something, if you are, then because then you're basically what you're doing is you busting down the door for somebody else to make it different and for them to put their twist on it and to make it happen. And that's all it's about. And I don't care if you are female, male, or non-binary. Like literally, that is it. That's the key to everything.
Yeah. And awesome. I was telling, can you guys hear me? I still can't.
Yes.
When I teach acting, I tell these kids, and when I speak on panels or speak to youth, the most important part of a show and a movie are the credits. And I would tell them, you should know what a gaffer is. You should know what all those different roles are, because all of them want to aspire to be in front of the camera, but you have to know all aspects of this business. You need to know what Screen Actors Guild is. You need to know what Taft-Hartley means. I teach them and their parents this business, because at the end of the day, if you don't have integrity, you won't know who's coming or going. And like Jeanne said, you have to surround yourself. It takes a team, but you also got to know if that team got your back. And they have your best interest. So it's not just the team, but you got to also be aware and make sure that there's a balance.
100%. 100%. And two, a lot of that is about knowing yourself. When you're looking for something outside of yourself, you're not gonna find it. Like everything you need is inside of you, and
Mm-hmm.
and everything that you are looking for is in there too. And if you look for it outside of yourself, that's when you start asking for trouble, because then you are putting somebody else's stuff where your stuff needs to be. And you have
Exactly.
to just ground that into who you are. And it's a lifetime thing. You're not gonna get it right all the time. And you acknowledge,
Mm-hmm.
apologize, and then change. Like the biggest waste of time that anybody's ever done is to apologize and then do the same shit over and over again. Like
Exactly.
literally, if you
Yeah.
sorry, then do something different next time. Or say, I'm
Auto
really
correct.
sorry. Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry that hurt you.
Right.
That's not necessarily something I can change. So maybe I need to back up. You know,
Right.
like, and that's true with work, is true with friendship, is true with
Yes.
relationships, is true with everything.
That's
Definitely.
that word that I want to ask you about, and your fearless authenticity. You know,
Yes.
the spoken word. Tell me about that, because that's the word. That's the buzzword in Hollywood, girl. That's everything. Authentic, being authentic, and that's something that is lacking in our industry most of the time, and very rarely do you find that. So, tell me about what that fearless authenticity is about.
So that's something I came up with when I started doing consulting, when I started because the Spoken Bird is my business name.
Okay.
And so that's where all of my work goes through. And but Fearless Authenticity is the brand, and it's
Mm-hmm.
the book I'm writing. And it's about, right? It is about this idea, like, all right, so let me back up for a second.
Okay.
When You and Me got canceled, I had already started, I'd gone back to grad school, and I had the idea of doing consulting. I've always wanted to have my own business, but I never really thought it would be possible because, you know, like having production, you need to have backers and all this other stuff. And I was like, do I really want to produce stuff? What do I want to do? And when I was in grad school, it became very clear, because I enjoy working with other people to help them reach their goals, whether it's in, you know, radio, television, or in life. And I realized that there are things we know in our industry, in media, especially in broadcasting, when it comes to communicating, that the average person doesn't know, but we think everybody knows it because everybody we're around knows it. Right. And everybody around us has that talent and that skill and work on it. But I realized most people don't have that, and it holds people up. And I saw it even in my grad program, really bright people who were scared to talk to folks. And I'm like, relationships are everything. And if you can't talk to somebody, if you can't make a presentation, if you can't sell whatever it is you're selling, and all of us are always selling something, then you know, you're missing a piece of the puzzle, and that's what's missing. And so I excuse me, I started thinking about, like, what do I know, you know, from my work? How can I explain that to other people? And one of the things that stood out for me, one of my old bosses, Elroy Smith, who was my program
Yes.
director at
My buddy.
WBCI, yeah, one of the most brilliant Black programming minds
Yes, honey.
one of the most brilliant programming minds, period, when it comes to radio. He's a brilliant
Period.
marketer. He's really, but one of the first things Elroy told me when I started working with him, he said, listen, Jeanne, he was like, music, you can hear the same music over on V103, sometimes on, as he used to call it, W Light. He was like, they playing some of our same stuff. He was like, dial, if you go down, up and down the dial, you will hear the same music. What people stick with is you. That's what they're buying. They're buying what you're saying. They're buying what you do. They're buying who you are by giving you their attention and their ears. Just like you guys with your podcast, you have particular perspectives. Erica, you do. Kay, you do. And people who listen to you, who tune into you, are listening not because they want to know a particular news thing from the facts. They want to know what you think and how your personality interprets things and how you see it and read into it and how you do it. And so the thing is that when people get to know you and all the things that make you, when you show them that, then you don't have to create a brand. You just have to promote it. And then it becomes people who, when you are fearlessly yourself, when you are all the things, when you show up as all the things you are to your job, whatever it is, all the identities you have, and all of us have multiple identities and things that are important to us, and we also have many experiences that we've been through. And until you show people what that is, then you're cutting yourself short, because you're not expressing your full value, and probably not getting paid what you're really worth.
Right.
And you are also robbing them of the opportunity to understand another perspective, because all of us are different. All four of us have different experiences in this room, and we have a lot of things that intersect. But if Kay doesn't say the stuff that moves Kay to people, then we don't get to know what that perspective is. And
Exactly.
I think too often in our work lives, especially we as Black women, but Black men too, and people of color, they hide, or try to fit in, get in where they fit in.
Exactly.
And some people switch a lot. We do that. Yes, ma'am.
And you know what? There's nothing wrong with it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with code switching. But the question is why? Like when you do it, is it because it's appropriate in that situation? Or are you doing it because you think what you are is less than? Right. Now, for me, I code switch like a mug. Like I do. That's just who I am. But parts of me always come through. I'm always showing up as Jeanne, even though I've been here for 30 some years. I'm still Jeanne from Louisiana. That's who I am. That informed how I came to be. And so that's all I had to say.
I think that I had a kid in my class today, and I was reading I teach Uta Hagen. There's 8 disciplines in acting, and I teach one of them, which is called Uta Hagen. And it talks about, before you can be a character or anything else, you have to know who you are, your inner self, and not a rubber stamp of anything, not an emulation of something. And they all kind of look befuddled, like, what is the inner self? So we have to do actually more work than I thought we have to do, because it was like, okay, hold on, let me just start all over. Do you know what that means? Do you know what authenticity? We're not even having those conversations with our youth, because they're doing TikTok, and their whole culture is emulation, is, trying to Cardi B, all these. Yeah, it's just like they don't even know who they are authentically. They don't know who they truly are. I know, it's crazy.
No, definitely. I have a 17-year-old who's graduating from high school, and then I have a 4-year-old. I see the complete difference in them now.
Sis, that's a haul, baby girl. Like literally, you raised a whole one, and now you got another one.
She got a fourth of one. It ain't even a half. It's like, God damn.
I knew starting all over times, and he needed some amusement. He was like, "I'm gonna give you a kid at 40, so that I always have something to laugh at." And that's but you can't raise you.
I will say this about, there is a difference, but what I will offer this, what I've noticed from social media. I think a lot of the kids who have broken through on TikTok and Instagram, to me, part of the reason why many of them have broken through is because they have an authentic voice, is because they are expressing themselves. I'm not saying the majority of them, because there's certain lanes that work, and we all know what they are, and you know what, God bless, do you. But I think that some of what happens, even though there is a good amount of posturing and putting forth their best life kind of thing, there is also unique perspectives that people gravitate toward. Like, who knew Plies was gonna be like, the relationship whisperer of
exactly.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
girl, he found his inner self, honey. That's what happened. Right. So I want to ask you some questions, Jeanne. It's just gonna pull some out.
Wait, hold on. Why are you taking over these girls' podcast?
Oh, am I taking it over?
No, I'm messing with you. Because wait a minute, because the thing is that me and Allison are catching up at this point.
I thought I was supposed to ask questions. I'm sorry.
You good. Girl, I don't care.
Hey,
Wait a minute, Kay, what you say?
I said, wait a minute. We missing the first question. Went around the moon. Went around the moon.
I forget this. I think this is just like a conversation I'm having with Jeanne, like catching up.
That's exactly what it is. Catching up.
So the answer to be the fly on the wall. Glad. So
Come
knowing
on, bring
what
me
you
back.
know now, right? Who you are, how did that propel you from your Louisiana upbringing to come to the big city to go to Northwestern? You were probably one of a handful of Black people, maybe.
At the time I was at Northwestern. How does it happen? Okay, so I'll say when I was at NU undergrad, we had probably the years that I was there was probably the highest number of Black people at Northwestern at the same time. Did we lose? Oh, I think we lost.
We lost
Allison. Come on back, girl. Get back in.
Bring her back in.
There she
is.
There
you go.
Okay. Yeah.
And, we were at about 10%. 10 to 12% of the student population. So there was a good number of us on campus. So there was that. I came to Northwestern because I wanted to get out of Louisiana. My mom went to Northwestern for graduate school. She was a musician, and so I grew up knowing about it, and I was like, okay, we got family in Chicago, because I really wanted to go to New York, and my daddy was like, hell no. Because we ain't got no people there. If you go into a city, you go into Chicago, because there's people who we can send to watch out for you. And so that's how I ended up there, but it ended up being the right place for me. So I just wanted to see some shit How did I go from what?
Yeah. Psychology to broadcasting.
It's all the same thing, girl. Okay, so my broadcast career, I started in high school. I worked at a little country western station my senior year of high school, because the program director there, our regional university has a big mass comm department. It's the school that Peanut Tillman went to, University of Louisiana Lafayette. And at the time it was called USL, University of Southwest Louisiana. But anyway, they had a huge mass comm department. So the program director of the first station I worked at liked to hire students out of high school and college so he could have cheap labor for a few years. So you would get paid, like federal minimum wage. You're doing better than everybody who's working at McDonald's, and you had a cool job. And it was the only job my mom would let me have. Like, it happened because I was in speech and debate, and the program director knew our speech coach and was like, okay, if they're in speech and debate, then they know how to talk and present, and they're trainable and that sort of thing. So I went and auditioned with my best friend, and yes, we're still best friends to this day. And she and I got the job.
Wow.
Awesome. Go ahead, Allison. Now tell us how you wound up in Chicago.
She's from here.
Can you?
I don't know if she can hear.
I think she's frozen now.
I think she's frozen.
Oh, no.
I'm not gonna tell all her business, but Allison from here. Allison from here. So that's all you need to know. Her mom and dad, if you did this, she was raised in South Suburbs.
South Suburbs. All right, Miss Allison.
And she
before.
Wait, now you freezing too. What'd you say?
If you can't hear me, Erica, ask a question, Erica.
We can hear you, sweetheart. But yeah,
Erica, go ahead and ask.
So Allison's from Chicago. Do you know how she got into her business and her artistry, what she does?
You know what? I don't know how she got into it, because when I met Allison, she was already she was out in LA. There you are.
There you are.
They were making me give you your resume. I was like, I don't know how she got into it.
I said, all kind of stuff going on over here.
Okay. I was like, we were talking about how you got started doing what you were doing. I was like, when I met Allison, she was already working in Hollywood and, producing and doing all that stuff. So now I'll hand it off to you.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm taking over. I can't help myself.
Do it, girl.
They told me. Terrence said I was hosting. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, he texted you and told you that?
Yeah, he texted me and told me that.
So we already know you are from Chicago. That's what Jeanne told us.
Yeah, so I'm from Chicago, and I got my start working under Ed Gardner at the Regal Theater. I was assistant producer there with Chuck Gano back in the day. And then I went on and worked for the late Mayor Hare Washington in special events. I started off as an intern under Sasha Dalton, who created the Gospel Festival. I was her intern. She's like my other mother now, my mentor. And then I worked for Michael Scott. And I have a funny story because Michael Scott went over to work for Windy City Television and political TV, City Hall TV, back when Eugene Dibble, these are old people that took over a special events department. So this shows how old I am. And he asked me, did I know how to use all this machine? Because I went to Columbia. I graduated from Columbia. And I was like, yeah, because I wanted to get out of that office. It was too much work. And so I went there and I was spending the night in the office, right? Because I was trying to teach myself how to use like the character generator, like all this stuff before this digital age, honey. We was like, it was all kind of archaic stuff up in there. And he came in one day, he stopped by the office, he had on his tuxedo, and he must have just was running in to get something. I was there. And he goes, Alsa, what are you doing here? And I go, He goes, are you sleeping here? It was like a Saturday night. And he goes, what's going on? I said, well, I don't really know how to use this stuff. He goes, well, how did you produce the show? I said, I winged it. And he was like, oh my God, this man unloosened his bow tie, took off his jacket, and said, if you lied like that, you must really want this job. And I don't need you to hook it up. And he sat there for an hour and taught me how to use the stuff. I don't know where he was on his way to, but he stayed with me to teach me. And I told his son that story. And it's just how that culture was. And like what Jeanne said earlier about like how we have to hold each other up. Now, typically it'd be like, oh, you're fired or whatever. No, it was like, okay, looking at something in a different way. Like I see your drive. And in those moments, I think defined me and like, oh, I could do anything. Oh, I could say I could do anything, and keep going. And so I ended up going to Hollywood and I worked for Johnny Carson Productions. They were the producers of a show called Amen. And I worked on the 5th season of Amen. I started off as a PA. By the end of that season, I became a writer. So I went from a production assistant to a casting associate to a writer, script coordinator to a writer by the end of that show, and a producer by the name of Beverly Cash. And I wish y'all could find her. I've been trying to look for this woman for years. She brought me in her office. I thought she was really mean, but she was one of the first Black producers in Hollywood in television. And she said, I've been watching your little fast self, blah, blah, this. And I was like, whoa, what's going on? She's like, there's a show that I think you'll be great for the writing team. And I was like, okay. So she said, go to this house and here's the address. And I go, okay, do I get any details? Like how much I'm getting paid? She said, let me tell you something. Don't ever ask that in this business. If you get another show, because the show was canceled now. We were on last year. If you got I don't have another show. You got another show. Just go to the address. So I go knock on this door. Little old lady opens the door. I end up going to a bedroom. And I sat on the bed. I was in the bed with Stan Daniels. You guys got to Google this man. He's a 29 Emmy Award winning. He created The Cosby Show, Good Times, like The Jefferson, Stan Daniels, and Ed Weinberger. And it was a show called Rock and Reggie that later on became the show Rock. And I got to sit and help develop the pilot. With people like Bob Pete, who was one of the creators of Good Times. And like these are my rock stars when I'm sitting around the room like, oh my God, there's Bob Pete. Oh my God, there's Stan Daniels. And like just got cultivated by these old dudes and cats in this industry. And I went on to work on the show Rock, which was Rock and Reggie. What happened was the guy who was playing Reggie couldn't read. And so at the table read, we found that out quickly. And the producers went off to a room, came back, took the script, scratched off the word Reggie and say, all right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first table read for the new pilot called Rock. And we just sat there like, what the fuck? And then that's the history of Rock. And I went on and I ran Wesley Snipes Film Company for many years. And I was an agent at William Morris. I, produce a show on Stars Network called First Amendment Martin Lawrence. We actually filmed it at the Chicago Theater. I brought it here. And, I produce festivals, the African Festival of the Arts, the Puerto Rican Festival, and Real Men Cook. And and my sister, as you guys know, Drew Sidora, who is now in Atlanta Housewives. I say that real low. Even though I worked 5 years to get her on the show, I was like, what was I thinking? But she loves it. She's got to, we just got to capitalize the vibration of the show and pivot somewhere. But I also managed Richard Pryor and Eddie Griffin and Joe Torre and all these comedians back in the day. So I'm here now at Epic, really teaching young kids the business, like not just trying to give them this pipe dream, but really teaching them this business, because it's a true business. I teach how to write. I'm writing my first book. A year ago, I don't know if you probably know this, Jeanne, I got panic attacks. I started having anxiety disorder. I've been diagnosed with anxiety and panic disorder. And during COVID, I was in an abusive marriage and all that kind of stuff happened. And so now I'm an advocate. I sit on the board for NAMI. I'm a peer-to-peer group facilitator, and I'm committing my life to mental illness, mental health, especially in the Black community, because there's a stigma. So I'm using now my arts that I have and blending it with the work that I do for NAMI. And so we're doing a performance arts camp this summer, and hopefully we'll be driving some of those kids at risk and those kids that are suffering from mental illness and giving them an outlet in the arts. And so that's my story. I'm sure I missed a bunch because it'd be a lot, but yeah.
It's a lot, and it's okay, and it is perfectly wonderful. And you guys, just in doing the things that you do, it's amazing. I'd rather give y'all roses now than later. I need y'all to feel how great you are now.
Oh,
like
thank you.
Your authentic selves. Thank you for sharing your authentic selves with us, because you don't get that often. It's odd, because I remember you, Jeanne, on the radio, and it was always this smooth, calm voice. Like, I don't understand why Calm doesn't have you as their spokesperson.
No, I'm going to grab her. No. I'm going to grab her. Don't give her that idea, because Jeanne, I got something to talk to you about, honey. I sit on a board of a new network called Conscious Good TV.
Cool.
You care about what you eat, should you care about what you watch? And we're going to be doing that stuff, sort of like Gaia, but only like the light side. The woman who founded the Tribeca Film Festival with Robert De Niro.
Very cool.
And I have a seat at the table. Like, I'm telling you, it's such an honor to be in this room with these people in the development of a network. And I'm going to be bringing urban programming and all kind of stuff. And I thought about you before Terrence told me that you were going to be on the show. I'm like, here's my Oprah. Here we are, and just because of what you said, Kay, because of her spirit and her voice and her and that energy that we need, and I really want to also, just extend my condolences to you. And I know, what you were going through, and, I'm going through the same thing with my dad right now, and just the voice for Alzheimer's and caretaking and all that kind of stuff that, I know you've been doing and still showing up every day and being on Facebook and telling people everything. You just wake up and be like, okay, I gotta be honest with y'all, and telling us when you're struggling, and I just love you. That's all I know.
I love you back, sis. And so for people who didn't know, both of our fathers, my father has passed away. And he passed away last year, just about a year ago, due to COVID. But he had struggled with dementia for 4 years, and I was his caregiver. And Allison's father is going through that with Alzheimer's now, and so I'm doing a lot of work around that, because I realized going through it myself that and watching my other family members having done it over the years, because my dad and my aunt were my grandmother's caregivers. And although she didn't have dementia, well, she had a little touch of something, but but it is challenging. And I think many of us, as you get into your 40s, especially as a woman, but it happens for men as well, but you get caught between your kids and your parents,
Right.
and trying to take care of everybody else but you.
Right.
And because you're putting everybody else first. And so I talk a lot about that. I have learned that what I thought was self-care, it needs to go deeper, because I too had problems with anxiety last year, and still, just coming out of it now. But it was a wake-up call for me to pay attention to what I need.
That's right.
And
self-care.
Like a lot of us think self-care is pampering ourselves, which is a portion of self-care, but real self-care is eating right, going to therapy when you need it, being
Every
honest, being honest with the men in your lives about what it is you need from them, or women, whatever it is, whoever you dating, whatever you doing, being honest with your partners about what you need from a relationship, telling your kids what their value is, and loving on yourself, because like Kendrick already told y'all, how you gonna love somebody when you don't love yourself? Like,
girl,
literally.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we think we love ourselves, and we think we're taking care of ourselves, but there's layers to that shit. There's many layers to it. And so, the thing that I always try to do is I'm always trying to put out positivity, but I'm also trying to put out what's real with it.
Exactly.
Because everything that happens to you, or happens around you, or happens in your life, you have agreed to. You haven't, and you have invited it in some sort of way. And it's hard to face that shit, man.
Girl.
It's hard. But when you do, and that's the thing I always like to try to emphasize in all of my work. Like, I'm looking for the silver lining. That's who I am. Hope.
Right.
If you don't have hope, if I don't have hope, I'm not gonna put it on anybody else. But if I don't have hope, then I'm lost. Right. And so,
girl,
it's for me, that's what it's about, Kay. That's what it's about, Erica.
Definitely.
That's what it's about.
You said something. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was saying, you say hope, I say faith. I got faith more than the mustard seed.
Girl,
I did not understand that I'm a busybody. I'm a busy person doing everything that I do. Football, mama, event planner, all of that. And my family brought me into a therapy session, but I was thinking I was there for somebody else it was intervention, like, like the crackheads.
How old were you?
This was a couple months ago.
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah.
A couple months ago. And I just sat there, and the lady was like, no, they're concerned about your well-being. You're not putting into you. You give.
Right. Boundaries.
And now I'm learning that. So tonight was supposed to be my woman's group, but I had to come on and really be here with y'all. So y'all,
that's what we're doing.
Y'all did my girl.
This is a woman's group. I had put on Facebook when I had, start talking about my mental illness, my anxiety disorder, depression, all that. I spent 19 days in a psychiatric hospital a year ago. Some things came up from the past. 93% of people who've had a childhood trauma, it comes back as an adult. And COVID really had us, isolated, idle minds, and really, some of those suppressions started to come back. Some statistics, suicide ideology is up 333%, and mental illness is up 600% since COVID. So that's telling you the work that we're doing with NAMI. But I had put on Facebook that I was having, I was just being authentic, like we just said. And this 3 women inboxed me. I wouldn't have put that on Facebook. I don't tell people about that. Yeah. And I was like, okay, so last week when you broke your ankle, you told us to pray for you. I broke my brain. So what's the difference? And if we stop talking about things that are not important and things that are saving us and saving our lives, when we look at these statistics and we be honest, that's where things will start to transform. And that's why our kids are going to start looking at us in a different way, because we're so inauthentic, right? And so I don't care what you think. I'm going to tell you about my story. And then after that, your 3 people that had something to say, I had 30 other women who said, where do I go? Can I have a number to your therapist? Can I get, so hello. So by us just talking about this, you're in a safe place, Kate. Do it. Go. I go to therapy. I'm a yogi now. I go to every group, if it's a self-help something, I'm Googling, I'm paying, get my credit card, because we have to understand grounding techniques. We have to know our boundaries. You know, have to, like she said, self-care is everything. Because the number one, you see how cancer is coming back. People's cancers are coming back because of stress. People's stroke level in Black women, cardiology is increasing. Cardiac episodes are increasing because we're stressed, we're scared, we're afraid, we don't want to catch COVID, or we got COVID, you knew somebody had COVID. It's just been a lot on us. So I want to change the narrative of what a strong Black woman is. And it's a woman who's saying, I'm not strong and I need some help.
Talking about it, I think it really does do that. I mean, and you're putting a face with someone people that we love. So
exactly.
Y'all are you're us. We see us in you. Y'all not that much older than me. I'm so sorry. Y'all not that much older. So
because I'm 51.
You're not even old enough to be auntie. You're not even old enough to be
I'll
auntie.
be 55.
See, y'all ain't old.
Yeah, our birthdays are like 4 days apart.
Yes,
and
we're both Capricorn.
So you got a little ways to go before you're gonna be 55, Miss Thang.
I'm gonna be 55 in January.
It's January. What is it now? It's June.
I gotta get ready. I gotta pump myself up, shoot. I gotta push these things up. It takes a lot of work to get there. Child, honey.
And then do this.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's what you do. Okay.
You gotta take that neck. You gotta take that
neck up. Oh yeah, push that back. Child, honey. Sorry, now.
The young people say just take the selfies from the hat. It's
right.
They do that too, but sometimes you don't get that angle. You can't get that angle all the time.
We too old. We don't know them filters. I ain't on TikTok. No.
I know them, but I don't use them because I'm like, you know what? Fuck it.
They gonna see me in person. I don't want to do it too much. They'll see me in person and be like, wait a second.
I appreciate
you have to have some kind of way to decompress. And whatever way you can figure to do that, whether it's yoga, meditation, some people it's exercise. I wish that were me. I wish I liked exercise to clear my brain, but unfortunately, that's the last thing I want to do. I wish I was one of those people. Let me go to.
I got a bike for the first time. I just bought myself a bike. Go get a bike. Although it's a shortage of bikes. But
I have one, and
it
has collected dust.
Girl, you know what?
I do have a bike.
Got your bras hanging on it.
Every summer, I say I'm going to do the biking thing this summer, and then. Sadly,
don't judge yourself. Don't judge yourself, because I think that's the biggest. I think that's the biggest enemy we all have, and we've all done it, And we joke about it and stuff like that. But don't judge yourself, because there's enough people out there that's going to do it for you.
Okay.
And
snap.
It's like you just love on yourself and don't judge yourself. If you did it, you like, okay, there's this thing. It's called grace. Give it to yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know if there's any. Allison, did you have any more questions? Because I like to end on that note. Grace. Love yourself. Give yourself some grace, because damn it, you deserve it.
You deserve it. You earned it. We let other people get away with things all the time. We let them slide. We let them take us out. We let them do things to us and whatever. And I forgive you. I forgive you. We have to forgive ourselves for, sometimes we might drop the ball. Well, keep it moving.
Exactly.
Live, learn, do better next time. Keep it moving. Don't be
exactly.
That because here's the up thing. We do it too much when we're younger. By the time we get this age, that's over with.
Mm-hmm.
And even when we're younger, like beating yourself up never helps ever. Like ever
do it, but when we're young, we don't know any better.
Right. And whether you're 15 or 50, You beating yourself up never works. So if there's somebody out there, I don't care who you are, where you come from, what you do, if you beating yourself up about something you did wrong, stop. Just stop. Just acknowledge that you did it. Don't deny it, and then learn from it, because that's why God sends that stuff into our lives, so we can learn what we came here to learn, that we can be for each other what we're supposed to be for each other. And that's all there is.
Right.
All the rest of this stuff, it's just extra.
Well, I feel bad because I gave all the questions. I didn't let Allison jump in at all. I'm sorry, Allison. Go ahead. I am so sorry.
I'm good. I'm so good. I'm so good. I want to be interviewed too alongside Miss Jeanne Sparrow.
You are, girl. You doing your thing. Look at that. That's one to freeze on. She like,
let me hold something, because I want things too.
You have.
Let me hold something up in this piece.
You're the one that asked about it, Allison.
I
know. But please understand, this is us all the time. Like, I haven't seen Allison in a good minute, but we keep up with each other on social, and when we see each other, it's like we pick up where we left off.
Yes, honey. I love you.
I love you back. All the relationships you have, hold dear to them when they are good to you, because they will continue to be good to you your whole life. I promise. Yes. Oh, Emma, thank you. Definitely need to hear all that. Thank you for watching.
Hi, Emma.
Emma was on yesterday's show, and so
cool.
What you said. So Emma struggled with some depression and self-love, and she turned all of that into bodybuilding.
Ooh,
wow. She is a college soccer player. She plays force with me, with tackle football. She plays for the it's called the Blitz now. So what used to be formerly known as the Lingerie Football League, then went to the Legends, and now it's called something else. So she was on the show yesterday.
Okay.
Very cool, Emma.
Hey,
cool.
Awesome.
Hi, Emma.
I want to give a couple shout outs to, again, so people know how they can see you guys, support you both. Again, Allison, you're the arts. Say where your center is again.
Yeah, so we're Epic Arts and Entertainment. We're located inside of River Oaks Mall, where our website is epicartschicago.com. We're right next to Champs.
That's convenient.
Yeah, free parking. And so if you guys want it, we also rent the space out for private parties. Somebody just had a birthday party here, and baby showers, or if you just want to brand yourself, if you're a choreographer or something like that, you can come and use my studio and do what you want. But we teach acting and dance, stepping. Stepping is usually on Wednesday nights. They canceled tonight, but every Wednesday and Saturday have stepping and line dancing in here, and everything, boxing, everything. You name it. If we don't teach it, we will. But we teach everything. If we don't, we will.
Thank you, Miss. Thank you, Allison. And Jeanne.
All right, so a couple things to plug. V103 on Saturday mornings from 6 to noon. As I like to say, I am sitting in Herb Kent's chair, just keeping it warm for him and his spirit. So it's Old School and Dusty. It's the Saturday morning wake up club from 8 to noon, and I'm on from 6 a.m. to noon on Saturdays. So that's that V103, v103.com, iHeartRadio, that get the app if you are out of town. And if you want to know more about, because I do speaking, consulting, training, and things like that around the Fearless Authenticity brand. So you can check me out either at jeannesparrow.com or fearlessauthenticity.com. It takes you to the same place. And you can check me out on social at JM Sparrow, and go to my site and, get on my mailing list, because I'm going to start rolling out some of the content from my book and the work that I do. And I'm hoping to launch some online courses next year to help people, whether it's you want to get into media and how to fine-tune your presence, or you just want to do better at your job at presenting and speaking. If you want to speak for a living and things like that, I can help you with all that stuff. So
Awesome.
Wow.
Thank you.
We're adding public speaking here at Epic. I'm going to be needing somebody to teach it.
All right, then. Well, let a sister know. Let a sister know.
Got a little plug.
There you go. So
That's that support
ladies.
system. That's that networking.
Always.
That's that supporting each other.
Always. And as an entrepreneur, you really need that. You
Oh, yeah.
really need that. You know, like it'll be 4 years that I've been incorporated next month. And I just look and I go, I'm getting close to that 5-year mark, because they say, you know, most new small businesses don't last 5 years. I'm like, I'm almost there.
Girl, that's awesome.
But I'm just now feeling like last year, I started the year thinking it was going to be like I was going to have to go find a job or something. Like I was going to run out of money or find a job, because COVID cleaned out my client list real quick. But then like everything changed, and it was because I was going into the year thinking it was my best year, and I ended the year with it being my best year. I spent the first 3 months of this year in Hawaii, like legit. You know, that was a self-care thing, Kay.
Must be nice.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm gonna speak.
And you can do it too. Like legit. If somebody would have said that to me this time last year, I'd have been like, you know what? Out of here with that bullshit. Like, why you playing with me? Why you playing with me? And then it happened, and I was like,
wow.
So if I can do it, you can do it too. Don't ever, if there's something you want, you can do it. You just got to figure it out. And want it bad enough.
Yep.
Love it.
Figure out how to get it.
Well, thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
So much. Anytime y'all want to come back, you know, just tell us, and glad to have you.
If you need me, let me know.
If you need
here.
If you need us, let us know. Because look, I'm a worker, so if I event plan, I work. You need me, you call me. I got some stuff from you.
I'm gonna get your number. Thank you.
Well,
awesome. All right, Jeanne, I'm calling you, sister.
All right,
I love
Allison, I'm right here. I'll take my phone off D&D.
Okay. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
God bless
and
you
for
guys.
the love, blessings, and much continued success with the podcast.
Thank you. Bless you both. Keep up the good work. Do what you do. Show these young women.
All right. Now the moment you guys have been waiting for. Hold on.
Drum roll, please.
Yes. So you know that we come with it. For those that know, well, those that don't know, Miss Erica is our lady who gives us all the dirt, dishes, everything about the latest episode of The Shot, which is not just a Chicago show, but Lena, its curator, is a Chicagoan. So it gives some heart. It gives us some stuff. So go ahead, Erica, tell us what's going on The Shot, girl.
Okay, so spoiler alert. Just want to put that out there in the beginning. So we come in with Kevin and his sister, his parents. His mom is in a relationship with a woman. Well, she's married to a woman, so they have two mothers. And recently, Kevin was in a situation where he saw his friend got beat up by the police. Okay. And the police actually drew the gun on him as well. So he's having anxiety. He's having issues. And he's kind of being a jerk right now. Leave me alone. Don't talk to me. He's mean to his mother or whatever. Not even as compassionate as he needs to be towards his sister, because last season his sister was held hostage and assaulted numerous times by a man. She was kidnapped and held hostage. She is now pregnant with a baby by that man. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot going on in their household. So he had gotten suspended from school for doing some things on this college trip he wasn't supposed to be doing. And basically in that situation, the daughter, Keisha's trying to find a home for the baby, but she's kind of getting torn with that because she's got this child in her. And any of you that have ever birthed a child or been pregnant with a child know that bond and connection that you make. So, you know, she wants to give the baby up for adoption because it's a reminder of this horrible thing that's happened to her. But now those motherly instincts are kicking in and she's kind of like, I don't know. So their household is in disarray. Victor, who they call Trig, has let one of his friends, played by Jason Weaver, another Chicago's very own, just got out of jail. Jason Weaver just got out of jail. His character, for some reason, his name escapes me. Did you watch it? You watch it?
I saw it. Yeah, I saw the episode, so I forgot his name though.
Okay, his name escapes me. But anyway, they're having tension because he's just sitting around the house, not really doing much. And then Victor and his girl, Mani, they've been having some issues too. This is the episode where Jason Weaver's character also finds out that Victor's girlfriend, Trig's girlfriend, is not actually female. So nothing transpires with that in this episode, but we'll find out next week how that goes. Because I'm guessing there's going to be something happening with that.
I was thinking that too. Like,
because they were at the bar and dude told him, and Jason Weaver was like, what? Like, wait, so that means my boy? What?
You know, and I don't think Jason would do a certain type of scratch that. I'm wondering, because the shot always throws in these real surprises, that Jason knows this girl when the girl was a boy.
Oh.
You know,
okay.
Lena liked to throw some surprises in.
Okay. Now that's something I hadn't thought about. Okay. Gotcha.
And the baby, my heart is so torn. It is so torn for her. I couldn't imagine carrying life, knowing how the life
you're gonna
out there. Yeah. You know, I couldn't imagine. But because I'm what was that show on SUV? So Olivia is a product of rape. And so I'm like, well, look how great Olivia is. So maybe she watching having SVU. I'm like, okay, well, this is my child. I'm gonna love on it, and it too can be great. Maybe I can get past it. Hopefully, someone, she gets more therapy.
Yeah, and the child is gonna need therapy. I actually used to go out with a guy who was a product of rape, and it definitely it does something to you.
I'm looking. I know it's hard. His name is Rashid.
Okay.
It's Rashid, and he said she's gonna keep the kid.
Yeah, I'm thinking too, because there's that other part when she's sitting down there with Emmett, and Emmett's son is there, and she's watching Emmett's son play the video game, and she's looking like, okay. Back to the recap. So speaking of Emmett, him and his wife now, Tiffany, they're going through it because Emmett had slept with his business partner, Dom, played by Lala Anthony, and he decides to come clean and tell her. He tells his wife this. The guilt was getting to him. He was nervous all the time. I guess he feels like, I want to tell her before anybody else does. My thing is, no one was going to tell her, though. And a lot of people feel like it's good that he's being honest. But I'm like, how do they get past this? Because I feel like in her heart, she was thinking, wow, finally, this is coming. I've loved him so long. He's done me so dirty in the past, but now we're finally married and this. And then now she gets hit with this ton of bricks. Okay. So she's been giving him the cold shoulder. But her and Dom have this business that they're starting together with the edible treats. So they have their launch at the opening. But Tiff is cool with Dom, you know. She's just mad at her man. And so then she consults with two of her friends, a gay couple, male. And they're telling her, like, girl, you need to just have that open relationship so nobody's cheating. Everybody knows everything and this, that, and the other. So Tiff is like, But before that, when I say did you see how she was letting him have it? When he was like, did you do? And she's like, yep. And his hair was better than yours. She was being cold. And I was like, it's about time she stood up for herself. All the babies he had, all the hitting everything that walks whenever he wants to, that he was doing. And she was just there for the taking. Now she's like, you know what? This is too much. Because I'm not just your baby mama no more. I'm your wife. We live together trying to start a family. And now this is going on. So she ends up bringing it to him. Okay. And, you know, he looks dumbfounded. Like, I can't believe this is happening to me. You know, the typical double standard. You know, I've been cheating on you for years from jump. Now you do this one thing. Boo hoo, woe is me. I can't handle it. Because, you know, they can't handle what they dish out.
No, you can dish it, but you can't take it.
You can dish it, but you can't take it.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And J.I. hush. She was being
disrespectful. It wasn't believable. Oh, yeah,
it was? Because, well, you don't have experience in this, J.I., because you never cheated. But, boo, you know that you have seen some things in the past. You know, look, we've sat there and watched popcorn, watching some girls go off on fellow football players. They got caught. We've seen it. It is very, very believable.
Yes.
I'm looking to see what she does next week because of.
Yeah. I am too. And I want to know what Emmett's going to inevitably feel about that. Because he can't take that. I don't think he's gonna. I don't know. Because he was trying to get out of his old ways. He really was. I think.
Really? Or was it just guilt? Like he was maybe trying to do right because he knew karma was going to come and get him eventually?
But why turn over that new leaf now? Unless he really meant it. However, there's still some lingering there with him and Keisha. They're too close because in the beginning it was made to look like they were just smashing. But now it's like they're actually friends. They actually talk to each other. You know, I think he always kind of had her on a pedestal anyway. I think he always felt like she was too good for him and like, you know what, I'm going to just back off that and not do her like the rest of the hoes. And so they became cool.
Yeah.
But I think he got something in his heart for Keisha. I do. Keisha maybe not so much because she's got too much else going on. But they've been showing them interact so much more. I feel like it's got to be something there. J.I., we know you. I know you think he's too old for Keisha because we discussed that, and he is. But we also discussed that this is what these things go on in 2021, and men that are too old are always getting with young girls. He's 25, she's 18, 19. Yeah,
that's normal. He's not too old. 25, 19. So he's older. I would be looking at a 25-year-old, looking at my 18-year-old. She can't go in no bar with you. So once you hit 22, 21, you shouldn't date anybody younger than 21 because y'all can't go in the same places. But 25, 18, that's the ripe age to train them right. Girl, get one that you can train. I am not, he said R. Kelly. I can't stand you.
He's a little too old, and I think because it's Emmett and he's got that reputation. If he was a nerd dude, I don't think I would mind so much. So they want us to keep it brief. So, okay. There's a couple of topics that kind of heartfelt. Unfortunately, Emmett's mom found out she's diagnosed with breast cancer. So we'll see where that goes. She hasn't told Emmett yet because Emmett blew up when he went to the house and found her because she's dating a dude that's only 2 years younger. I mean, that's only 2 years older than Emmett. Mm-hmm. Emmett's got a problem with that. And Emmett also has that baby boy syndrome. Mama, you gonna choose him over me? Mama, you gonna choose him over me? Oh my God. That part was so like, oh, tired of this. Meanwhile, Imani, Victor's girlfriend. So Victor's friend or somebody that allegedly works for him or with him or whatever, brings this girl to get her hair done. Comes out the girl is being sex trafficked by the guy. So now Armani wants to help the girl. Of course, her friends are like, don't do it. He'll kill you. She tries to talk to Victor about it. Victor doesn't want to get involved either. And she kind of like punks him and calls him a pussy because of it. Like, that's the problem. You don't run shit. You can't even tell these dudes what to do. But they can come down in my salon and tell me what to do. Exactly. Double. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's a side note. They didn't really go too in depth about what Armani's going to do. Meanwhile, Duda Tracy, for those that don't remember, Tracy is the mother of the first boy who got killed in the very beginning of the show. The one who Coogie stole the chain from and got shot because the boy's father thought that he killed his son. She's in an organization because Duda, the mayor, defunded the police. So they have this organization where you can call them if something's going on instead of the police, and they'll go. So there was a domestic case. They went. Basically, it's a decent idea, but in Chicago, it's too dangerous for any organization, I think, to do that much because they actually go in these people's houses. And Trigg did get punched in the face by the guy. But in the end, Tracy talked to the lady. The guys, Trigg and another guy talked to the dude, and they made him leave with a bag so as to break up the fight. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they're trying to give Chicago some messages, like maybe some organization should try this. I do know there are some guys that do go out and man the gas stations when we were having all those carjackings. They show their presence there so that to calm down on that. And that's sort of the same concept. What else is going on? There's chemistry between Kevin's girlfriend and Jake. Kevin was being a douche once again and didn't want to be interviewed for her show. So Jake said, she asked Jake to do it. Jake did it. So Kevin's looking at them on camera like, what is going on? And there was a part in the season opener, where we see Gemma and Jake together in a compromising situation. So, okay. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, we know. We did have J.I. is bringing up the Black Panthers and the Guardian Angels were groups like that. That was also a while ago. Things are worse right now. But, she did just touch his hand, but that can be a lot in high school, And it was on camera. So that probably humiliated Kevin a little bit. Let me see. So what am I missing? Oh, Duda also has a thing for Tracy, the woman whose son was killed. And oh yeah. One of the most intriguing parts, Candy's freaky ass. Okay, so Candy Burris plays Duda's wife on the show. So Duda and this lady Tracy have been having flirtations off and on. We see it. So one night, they're alone, and basically it starts to go down. And then Candy comes in. This is at the end. This is how it ended. So Candy comes in, and she's like, "Oh, I guess my invitation got lost in the mail." So at first you're sitting there thinking like, uh-oh. And she's like, "I guess my invitation got lost in the mail." Candy comes in, has a seat. She's like, no, don't stop. I like to watch.
Baby, I was like,
And then Duda, wait, but that's not the real part where I was like, what? So Duda was looking kind of awkward a little bit, like, let me just shut this down and deal with this. And then old girl, Tracy, was like, let's do it. Let's get it.
baby.
That tripped me out. So that was how the episode went off.
Juicy.
Yeah, so it's heating up in the Shy.
All right.
Literally.
Look, it's just not the weather. Woo! The screen.
JI talking about, yeah, Candy. Shut up, JI.
It's hot like fire. Woo! We about to see some.
So I'm wondering, does she join after watching for a little while? Because she slid down in that seat like she was getting comfortable, like she was about to take something off.
Candy about to have a threesome on screen. Candy about to live up to the housewife rumors.
But I remember on Housewives, when she was taping, she said she had to do a sex scene because they had that whole conversation about how Todd felt about it. So I'm like, so now we going with, that could be a possible threesome. We going with, if Emmett agrees to Tiffany's terms, they might turn into some full-fledged swingers.
Well,
they might turn into some full-fledged swingers.
Look,
Tiffany's gonna be like, I could have been doing this all along. He's been having all this fun. I've been sitting here faithful and not with nobody, just me and this kid. And now this is what it could be. This is what it could have been.
Oh, yeah.
They might work that out.
It's going down in the Shy. On the Shy, it's going down. So thank you, Erica, so much for the update. Can't wait to see you next week.
I can't wait either. We'll have to tune in to the Shy and see what goes down. And our viewers will have to tune in here to catch the recap and the commentary.
Yes, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We're about to bring on our producer for the evening, our newest member, AB. Show yourself, baby. You're on mute.
You don't need to keep doing that, Kay. You really don't. You're handling your business, ladies. Awesome job, as usual. Great job.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being.
You got me wanting to maybe watch this show if there's this kind of stuff going on. I might have to tap into this. Definitely.
It gets juicy. It gets juicy.
Nice. I love it. All right. Awesome.
Catch us next week, Tuesday. I'm not going to tell you who our guest is next Tuesday. I want you to pay attention to us on social media.
Yes.
Chicago Clubhouse Podcast on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook,
YouTube.
On YouTube. Make sure you are subscribing so that you get updates, so that you know a new episode is up. If this is your first time seeing us, tuning into the show, please subscribe and go back and watch. You would think we have been on for years, the number of episodes that are there.
Right.
No, I don't even think it's been 4 months. I don't think it's been 5 months. We have some Terrence and TJ and JI and Will and JB have done a wonderful job with pulling great talent, whether it's sports, whether it's arts, philanthropists. We done had a little bit of everybody. So go back and watch, and thank you for tuning in. And this is the podcast where we think we know everything, but we really don't know shit.
I thought it was much. What happened to much? I heard what you did in the beginning. I like it. Way to stay on it. Way to do it.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Have a good night, people.
Thank you.